Do you handle clients that move to Brazil to learn Portuguese? General principle. So most of our clients, like they end up learning Portuguese because they have to, right? So typically people would not move to Brazil to learn Portuguese. They would learn Portuguese to have a better experience in Brazil. So I don't like the student visa much because like once you get the visa, you are stuck with a good part of your time committed to the learning. I'm not sure if you need to commit if it is like 15 hours a week. I don't recall anymore. From the get-go, many Franceses are going to say, well, 50 hours a week is not that much. Like I'm also going to socialize in the classroom. But what I see happening is that many people end up getting tired of the commitment over time, and then eventually they are going to try to find something else. The digital nomad, on the other hand, is much more flexible because once you get it, you can do whatever you want, right? Like you can keep your part time, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't need to keep meeting a certain requirement to keep the visa. Yes, in theory, you still need to provide like the remote work, but in practice, the Brazilian government is not gonna chase you until the next renewal, right? Like meaning that you're gonna have basically a year in Brazil without much headache. All right, general principle. But like learning the language, yes, yeah, like if your interest is to learn the language, going to a structured program, it may be a good idea. If you are in major urban centers like Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, you're going to find many people who will speak English in a reasonable manner, okay? Now, if you go like to smaller towns or if you get into different places, even within Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, less central areas like in the suburbs, and the suburbs in Brazil are not exactly the same as in the US, right? Then people may not speak enough English for you to get by, right? So learning Portuguese is typically a very good idea, general principle. Right. You manage to keep up to the 15 hours per week for 4 years. Do you get a residency? No, Aaron. So that's another huge downside of the student visa. You don't get anything, okay? You don't get anything. And I have like an example I always share because this was a close friend of mine. And nowadays he's a lawyer in Brazil. Go figure. Like so, this folk like he came from San Francisco, California. I think we met around 2011, 2012, and he went through two full bachelors in Brazil in order to stay legally in the country. So I think the first degree it was accounting, like a 4-year degree in accounting in Brazil, and then the second time it was a law program, which in Brazil, by the way, it takes 4 years. It's not like actually in Brazil it's 5 years. It's not like in the US in which you study, I think, for 3 full years. In Brazil, we do 5 years, but it's typically part time, right? So this friend of mine, like he studied for, it was, I think, 9 years. And believe it or not, Aaron, like he couldn't get any residency, right? Like he would have the residency based on studying at the university, but after 9 years, like he had nothing in his hands. Now, it was unfortunate or a bittersweet happening. Like both his parents, they passed away. I don't recall anymore if it was during 2021, 2022. I don't recall the year, but both his parents, they passed away, and then he got an inheritance. And guess what? Like we helped him buy a property in São Paulo. It was by Avenida Augusta, so he bought a property, and through the property, he secured the Brazil real estate investor visa, and from there, he's following with the permanent residency and so on. But yes, student visa slash residency, it doesn't get you anywhere.